What's up, everybody? I think this will be my last one for today. I said that on the last video, but I think this one for sure. I'm doing Love Bites. I did Love Bites last week. I promise I did. I did Golden Dawn, I think is the song I did. And the label said, no, you can't show that. And then I challenged it, and they said, no, we still think you can't show it. So my review for Love Bites Golden Dawn is just somewhere in the ether for nobody to hear. Yeah, I may do it again and do an audio version of the song or something. But for now, I'm doing Rising. This is the official video for Rising. Have not listened to this one yet, so we will be able to check it out together. So I got my coffee. Very important. Pikes Peak. Very cool. If you get the opportunity to visit Pikes Peak, you should take it. It's beautiful, and be careful when you get up there because you will get lightheaded immediately. Before I get into the song, two caveats. One is I'm not a professional musician or audio expert or vocal coach or even reviewer, frankly. I do this for fun, okay? If you're looking for somebody with more expertise, The Needle Drop has you covered. Or Justin Hawkins Rides Again, one of my favorite musicians / reviewers. I don't watch all of his videos, but I really enjoy him as an artist, and I trust his judgment. He's very, very gifted, and he's worked really hard. So if you're looking for a more educated response to something like this, they're out there. Okay, for me, you're getting vibes, and you're getting my opinions, so don't take them too seriously. Part 2 is don't be a dick. Not everybody likes metal. That's fine. Not everybody likes me. That's fine. Some people have said I look like a catfish. That's very uncalled for. But I like catfish, so I'm fine with it. My point being, you don't have to like me, but let's try to keep it polite, all right? I try to be polite. I try to be respectful, and that's just what I would ask from you in return as part of our deal. With that said, let's get right into it. So this is Love Bites with Rising. And here we go. Uh, that was great. Okay. So a few things. I always say that when I get out of a video because there's always a few things to say. Okay. So as far as the video goes, I'm assuming that was shot somewhere in Japan. It's a cool video. It's a cool set. Out there in the on the cliff. I think that's really cool. Um, I don't have a whole lot more to say about it because the video itself is mostly just sort of a performance video set in a different location, right? So there's not a lot going on there in terms of trying to tell a story with the video. They do a little bit, but like it's not an acting heavy video, right? So a couple of the things I liked. Haruna, so talented, so good on the drums. A couple things I noticed specifically. One, she did a little gallop, I think around the second verse, which is just it's nice to see people throwing in little different tweaks and flavors, right? Instead of just that steady double bass beat the whole way through, you have a gallop. So a gallop is it's usually like a triplet. Da-da-da, 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 right? It sounds like a horse. Now you can do it on the guitar as well. No idea if this will actually translate, but on a guitar it'd be like, right? It's got kind of that galloping rhythm. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. You might recognize the song. Ba-da-dum, 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 bum, bum, ba-da-dum. So that's really cool. It's an effective sound, and I also like that she's able to throw it in. Also, at the very end there, in the last like 30 seconds, we got some offbeat cymbal, which is really fun. It's hard to do, and it creates just a different feel, right? It's not a big flashy fill or anything like that, but it does give you just a little bit of a different feel to the song there at the end, and I really like that. Doing a little bit of flair, doing some stick tricks, always fun. The guitar work is impeccable. There's something about Japanese metal, or at least the Japanese metal that I'm familiar with, right? This may not hold true for everybody, but it is deeply technical. And I would assume most bands that make this kind of music are in that same boat. But their harmonizing solo, even down to it looked like they were playing the notes in the same way, right? Not just that they were playing the harmonizing solo perfectly, but like it looked like they had both had the same guitar teacher for their whole lives, and they had been taught to play the guitar the same way. So each note that they're hitting, their hands are like creating the same shapes. It's interesting. There seems to be a formula, right? You go one solo, second solo. In this case, they kind of went back and forth a couple times, and then you have the harmonizing solo. And I like it. I think it's fun. I know this is sort of more of a hallmark of like maybe 80s metal. I don't really listen to 80s metal. When you always had a guitar solo, because a lot of metal now there's no solos, right? I did a Norma Jean song that I really love a few weeks ago, and it's very heavy. And there's not a solo. There's just more heaviness, right? And so they're kind of hearkening back, I think, to that 80s era of like Guns N' Roses and I don't know, Rat. What are some other metal bands? Van Halen, right? I guess Van Halen. They probably did solos. I've never listened to Van Halen. But their guitar work is impeccable. I know, the Dragon Force comparisons. I've made them. They're very easy and obvious to point out, and they've toured with Dragon Force, so it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if Dragon Force was responsible for inspiring like a new wave of metal artists in Japan, or if it was. I know there's been a real serious rock and roll like community in Japan for a long time, like since the 80s at least. Like deeply committed to rock music. So it's possible that this is just, sort of a, what's the word? Concurrent innovation, right? People who are sort of making the same sorts of things at the same sorts of times, but without necessarily being influenced by each other. That happened a lot with like scientific discoveries that would happen in different countries, right? You're working on the same problem in different parts of the world. Even though you're not influencing each other, it looks like one person might have copied, right? But there was no overlap. So I don't know. I don't really care. Everybody's influenced, and everybody creates their sound based on the artists that influence them. So I I don't care. I'm not accusing them of ripping off Dragon Force. And I don't know. Like I said, they may not have been influenced by Dragon Force, although Dragon Force got pretty huge. I gotta imagine they were pretty popular. But I really like this. I really like this a lot. I like the little keys interlude. Got a little vocals and keys, and it's really pretty. I like the all white. And unrelated, well, sort of unrelated. I hope they get their new bassist soon. I know they're doing auditions and stuff. If they need a really tall white guy to play mediocre bass, give me a call. I can help you out. I will tower tower over the band. You will not be able to get all of us in the same shot because I am 6'3". So yeah, that would be comical, I think. Anyway, that does it. That's Love Bites Rising. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching to the end. For those of you who did, I hope you enjoyed my take on it. If you have any thoughts, any comments, feel free to drop them in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good day. Drink lots of water. Stay safe out there and be nice to each other.